Alright, so let's look over here for a second. I'm working on this chart and I thought I'd use it for teaching. Here I've brought it out that let's take a look at one of these boxes. This is the EAC box. Now if I will go to the sea of cage boxes. It's the EAC box, right? So again, what do we have? The 7th to the 2nd, okay, from the 7th to the 2nd. So here's the 2 and here's the 7, okay. Now let's check the other what's going on there. We're looking at the G minor. All right, so the G minor is the Dorian right there. It starts the 2 because you know G minor is the root shape. So we got 2, 4, 6, 2 Dorian. Okay, and notice the gray part is the A-shaped 4. This kind of H looking thing, this is not only in the Dorian, but it's also in its parent major. So I put the major stripes there. The major, you know, he's got stripes. So the cage bound our 4th arpeggio, which would be F in the key of C, right, goes R for R. Okay, now maybe that should have had the 6 should have had these here too. See, I'm working on this chart, so this is what it's like. This is how much fun it is to do charts. It's a lot of fun. All right. So that's like that. And then, you know, I could save that or whatever, but it's going to start asking me a bunch of questions where I want to save it and blah, blah, blah. You can do a one-click save or something like that. Anyway, now we look at that F arpeggio. It's root 4, 6. Root 4, 6 is second inversion. What shape is that in? What shape is an A chord in? Okay, it's essentially second inversion. If you just play an A, hey, play me an A. Wow, man, that guy can play. It's essentially a second inversion on the fingered notes. So we call it A shape. You know, even though we've got these barred notes here. So here's our A-shaped F, root 4, 6. Root 4, 6. That means C, F, A in the key of C. So this is the notation. So your G goes to A. Look for these things to be right next to each other pentatonically. Look for these to be 1, 4, 5. All right, if it says root 4, 5, it's 1, 4, 5. This is an E-shaped root, so it's an E-shaped 4, and it's in that box where we have now 7th half diminished going to 4, going to root shape. 7 going to root shape. It's interesting also to notice that with the G minor 2, we have a 2, 4, let's see, 2, 4. Now this one's supposed to have kind of like these shapes here, this kind of an attribute, you know. So I shouldn't have just given, I'm working on this chart now, I shouldn't have just given that color to the other side, right? So it's like that. Now what do we got? we got a Dorian. And remember, the striped ones are members of both. So when you have D minor, it shares two notes with F. So it shares two notes. A lot of things just share two notes. Now we can do our D minor arpeggio. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 2. Additionally, when we're talking about the other chart, all right, in this case we have a 7 half diminished. We'll call it an E minus. Okay, so we've got the the minor major. There's A, third minor A shaped, fourth, half step up. So here's the third minor A shaped, right? 7, 3, 5, and then root 4, 6, A shaped major. Okay, remember this is a minor, but it's warped over, so we have a perfect fourth to the root, and then this is supposed to be a minor third, but since it's up at string number up there, warp string, it warps over. That's where we get our nice little A minor to play. Similarly, so you got this major minor relationship between, say, in the starting with the E shape. If you're in, call it the key of A, you know. But remember, this would be only A minor shaped. It's not necessarily A minor in the key, because if it's the third minor in the key of E, it's going to be G sharp minor. So similarly between this AA, GG, CC, all the way across the board, DD, EE, we have C, C minus, A minus, G, G minus, E minus, D minus. At least the guy didn't fail. Sorry. Warped sense of humor there. But that all occurs in this box where the 7 and the root is. So this is root, and this is root minus, because they're in the same cage. That's what I wanted to show there. Okay, so I think we're just gonna call it an hour tonight, because I think I've got to do a little more charting, a little more playing. I was playing this stuff great last night, but what it is it's like I actually made an analogy. It's about giving a dog a bath. If you really want to knock the fleas out, you got to give him 2 baths in a row. Even though the vet will say, well, don't give her but 1 bath a month, because their skin could get dried out. But if you really want to kill the fleas, you got. It's kind of like that. So we have to do 2 lessons. This is really an extra lesson from last night. The chart I made today, it brings out a very important quality, and it's in with all the modes. So it looks like a tugboat here, right, or a car or something like that, you know. But really, this is 1 fretboard. This is 1 fretboard. Now, if I cut and paste this square right here down to here, it would be exactly the same way the way it is, except for the minor labels and for the tripentatonic labels. So this is why this chart is like this. All right. So notice we got the word caged eventually. C-A-G-E-D. That's for the Ionian and Dorian. The Phrygian and Lydian. C-A-G-E-D. There's no repeats. Okay.